dude, I could go to the bathroom like before I go to the movie, but once I get to the movies, even though it's like 5 minutes later, I still have to go to the bathroom again before I walk into the theater.
I usually go
And
always
you?
during every time. I always go during the movie.
During?
Yeah, because I think about it and then it's in my head. And then it's in my head and I'm like 20 minutes in. I'm like, I keep thinking about it even though I don't really have to go. Let me just go and get it over with. And then I go and I come back. I'm like, I probably went a little bit too early. I probably should have waited a little bit. And then it's in the back of my head again. And then I think I have to go again.
I have times where I have to go and I just get so into the movie I forget, and then afterwards it's like I gotta run because I really need to go now.
So you're just pushing all the little kids out of the way, running in the bathroom.
Yep. Well, I mean, I'm tall, so it's just more like a kick. I kind of kick them out of the way.
You just step over them like you're on stilts.
Yeah.
Like what kids? What movie are you watching, dude?
All the movies, man. Every Pixar movie.
Every Pixar movie, he's the king. He's the king of the dwarfs. Anyways, on that note, welcome back to Not a Strong Start, a movie podcast by three filmmakers that love to talk movies, television, and step over tiny children. I'm your host, Daniel 2, the new batch.
I'm Jose Ramos, also known as Jose Forever.
And I'm Chad Radwell, also known as...
You got to give us a bad sequel,
You know what? I was going to say something and I was like, I don't want to get banned again, dude. We're going to get banned off our ads and YouTube. And I'm like, forget it. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
I'm just me. I'm just me.
You're just you. So you're alone is already your bad sequel. Is that what you're implying?
Exactly.
So if you haven't caught the tone yet of this week's episode, we're talking about movies that never were, whether they're bad, whether they're going to be sequels that came off of a strong monster hit, or just a movie that's completely original, maybe something based off of a book, something that they were going to adapt. We're going to tackle movies that never were and possibly never should have been, and maybe even some that could have been, that would have been pretty cool. We don't know. We're about to explore that. So who's going to hit us with the current event? Nicolas Cage is still interested in doing the Tim Burton scrapped Superman movie. Even to this day, he's still interested in it. And for those of you that haven't known about it, Tim Burton was going to do this Batman movie right after he did Batman Returns. And he had Nicolas Cage that was set up to do Superman. They already did test screenings for it. Nick Cage had long hair. I'm not sure if it was original hair, but it looks terrible. The costume looked cheap. They said it was intentionally supposed to look cheap, but it looks very cheap. And I'm glad it was never made. Thoughts?
Guess what? I would have liked to have seen it, and I still want to see it. With Nicolas Cage right now.
To laugh at it? Or would you say it's already... Yeah, exactly. Or would you say he's better than Henry Cavill? Who's more badass?
No, Henry Cavill's... He was born to play Superman, I think. You know, he's got the look. He was born for that role, which sucks that they're not giving him more opportunities to do it. We got another fucking Shazam movie before we got Superman. That's right? I got that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, Shazam's cool, though. I like Shazam 1. I thought it was pretty good.
No, it's cool, but how are you going to have Shazam 2 before you have Superman 2? Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, isn't there another sequel not Black Adam, that's not a sequel. There's another sequel, Wonder Woman. But the first one was good though. But
yeah, the first one was good. Wonder Woman 84. Yeah, Wonder Woman 84 had its flaws. I agree.
Yeah, but I mean, also if you look at it though, technically, even though he hasn't had a direct solo sequel, Superman has been part of multiple movies, while Shazam's only been on one.
Yeah.
And technically, I think they're counting Batman versus Superman as the first Batman movie, but also a sequel to Man of Steel. So they're kind of counting that. So it's, in a way, we're kind of waiting for part 3.
Yeah. So we'll see. I would definitely watch a Henry Cavill movie, but we're talking about Nick Cage, which means if they were to cast Nick Cage and do the Tim Burton Nick Cage version, it'd be an entirely new Superman movie, which probably wouldn't tie into any of the other DC movies. Would you guys want to see that?
No.
Yeah, it'd be like Bizarro. They might as well make it just Bizarro Superman, right? So
it'd be funny. It's Bizarro. Yeah.
To be fair, you said that Nicolas Cage is really interested in still doing it, but I feel Nicolas Cage is interested in doing any movie.
Correct.
So you
he has massive debt that he has to pay off. So I understand.
But you would watch it. You would watch it though, right?
1,000% I'd watch it. Absolutely, I'd watch it. Yeah.
I don't know if I'll go to the theater for it, but I'll watch it.
It's Tim Burton. I'd go to the theater.
Yeah.
If it was somebody else, not Tim Burton, maybe not. But Tim Burton, Nicolas Cage,
I'd watch
Superman,
it.
why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go to the theater.
Yeah, exactly. Because at that point, if Nick Cage was to still okay, here's my question to you, gents. Nick Cage, Tim Burton, Superman movie, but it can't be a comedy and it actually has to be good. How would you guys give me that movie?
There's your answer, dude. I was trying to think of like Superman Back from the Dead, or he got killed. I don't even know. I don't even know why he would look like Nicolas Cage.
That's
Like,
the answer I wanted. Why would
unless
he
it was
look like
Bizarro's
Nicolas Cage?
Bizarro's. It was just Bizarro, dude.
I would say once you throw out the parameters of it can't be funny and it has to be good,
Yeah.
you're kind of leaving us, not leaving us with much, Dan. You know,
Yeah.
besides his look, like everything you know about Superman. And Dan, I know you don't read much of the comics. Chuck, you do. But even just think of the past movie, think of the cartoons, every version you have of Superman. Now picture a Nicolas Cage freak out as Superman.
That'd be good to watch.
Did you cross your eyes right now?
Anyways, guys, so let's go ahead with our main topic, movies that never should have been. So most of my research were all sequels. Apparently, Jose did a bunch of originals. So that actually works out pretty good.
What causes some of these movies to not happen, to not be made? What can cause one of these projects to fall apart, especially when you have big names behind it?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many factors that can happen because just for a movie to get made, there's a lot of factors that for things to go right. You have to have a studio that's willing to fund it. You have to have if you have a studio, then they essentially become the investors. If it's more an independent feature, then you need independent investors. Once you have that, you have to have somebody that owns the rights, that has to sign off on it. You have to have actors that are willing to do it. You have to have a decent script. You got to have your crew. You got to have your post-production team, and then you have to have your distribution team. So not only does that just get the movie made, then you also have to have marketing. You have to make sure people go to watch the movie. If any one of those factors goes wrong, you can have either a big hiccup, or sometimes you can also have an economic issue that happened. I know one of the movies that I have listed, something globally happened that also paused it and made the production stop and halt. So sometimes it could be whether you have the director or you have one of the actors that might have been in the original, they may just opt out and just say, you know what, I'm not interested anymore. And sometimes they'll stop the franchise, or sometimes you get a Speed 2 where they'll recast Keanu Reeves with somebody else and the movie's a disaster.
Well, it can be budget, it can be actor, staff commitment, sometimes just studio fears themselves, where they're like, are we going to lose here? Because in the end of the day, it's all about the money for them, especially big studios, more than the actual content and the art. They don't feel like they get anything out of it, especially financially. Studio fears can get in the way. And then sometimes just timing. Sometimes a movie starts developing at the wrong time. And if you would have gone, 5-10 years before, or 5-10 years after that, it might have gone through and it might have been successful.
And then sometimes you get something like Top Gun, where they had the success of the first one. They've talked about a sequel for many years. And at one point they were close to doing it, and then they stopped for whatever reason. And then they wait almost 2 decades later, and now it comes out, or 3 decades now.
3 decades, yeah.
And now it comes out, and it's even better than it probably would have been at the time that it came out. So sometimes, it's a benefit. And then sometimes you have some movies that had no business getting sequels. Like they were good as is. And I'll tackle some of those because I have it on my list, that it was so good as its own standalone movie. Like I didn't need to see more of this world.
Yeah, I think I'm just kind of bummed that we missed out on Titanic 2 Cruise Control, because they killed off Leo's character in the first one. And so I heard that they were going to do the second one, and it was going to be kind of like Speed, but with Titanic. So I'm kind of bummed that didn't happen. So.
I mean, they also killed the main character, which was the ship.
Yeah.
But in fairness,
it was a new one.
Contract. Yeah, the ship had contract negotiations. That's why I held out from not doing the sequel.
Yeah, but it was going to be a new ship, like Titanic 2 Cruise Control, and it was just like this ship, but it was really fast and it had to go 55 knots or else it was going to explode.
One of the movies that I want to get into is the sequels that I'm so thankful it didn't happen was E.T. 2.
Ah, yes.
Yes. So they had
Nocturnal Fears.
Nocturnal Fears. So already that sequel title, Nocturnal Fears, sounds ridiculous. If I was to tell you, Jose, I'm gonna pitch you, if we had an episode where we just pitch very bad sequels, which is actually a pretty good idea. We should actually have an episode dedicated to that. If I was to pitch you E.T. 2, Nocturnal Fears, you guys would already be laughing your ass off saying, is it starring Nicolas Cage? and it might actually be pretty decent, but Nocturnal Fears, and the story was going to be evil ETs that were going to hold the kids hostage so they could find the real ET, and then he was going to come in and help rescue them and save the day. But what a ridiculous premise. So they're just grumpy ETs, like just probably fat ones that look angry,
using the kids as bait.
That's it, man. It's terrible.
Using the kids as sex slaves.
Yeah. The funny
And there goes our You waited 12 minutes for that one. Thanks, Chuck.
Forget it. Go ahead, Jose.
No, you want to continue with the sex slaves?
No, I think I'll stop. I think I'll stop. My favorite bum got stabbed today, so I'm not in a great mood. So
this is the part that your mom already fast forward. She heard it. She's like, "I'm out." Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Dude, I was telling my mom about like the IMDb and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, that's great." She's like, "Yeah, clean your act up, get your shit together," and I'm like.
Yeah. So for our audience that doesn't know what that is, it's IMDb Internet Movie Database, which is a legitimate website that shows like legitimate projects you worked on. Not a Strong Start is now officially on IMDb, gentlemen. So we're now got some professional credits on it. Yeah.
Mama, we made it.
We made it. But with it now comes corporate pressure that we have to now be a little more PG about our approach. So
well, that didn't last long.
Exactly. It lasted 12 minutes and 12 minutes and 12 seconds. That's how long it lasted.
But getting back to the movie, I think funny part about that movie is that, well, and Dan, you would know this being probably the biggest Spielberg fan here. Mm-hmm. Well, we all love him, you know. Yeah. He's never been one about sequels. You know, he's against them and all that stuff. But this is a movie, E.T. Nocturnal, where he actually was kind of on board at the beginning, and he even wrote a 9-page treatment for this, which is the storyline that you're going for. And so it actually came really close, and we would have gotten the Spielberg sequel until he realized, like, you know what, maybe this isn't a good idea after all.
Yeah, it feels like such a cash grab if they would have done it, because the first one is I love it. It's totally nostalgia to a core. If I was to say Spielberg, like classic Spielberg, E.T. is definitely top 3, because it's the moments that you have. It's that kiddie feeling. It's the music. It's the lightheartedness. It's just the warm, comforting sensation you get from Spielberg. E.T. has that. If you give us E.T. 2, we're not getting anything new out of that. So other than just grumpy, evil-looking ETs, you're just giving us more characters to throw on the ET ride that they took out of Universal Studios.
You know what's funny? You said all that stuff about ET, but that movie stresses me out.
Well,
I stopped. I don't know. It was just the suspense and the drama, and they're going to get caught, and they're trying to find them. That movie gives me anxiety, dude. So I don't.
That's it.
I don't get those warm, fuzzy feelings watching ET, dude. I get more warm, fuzzy watching American Werewolf in London than I do ET.
Because you're not eating Reese's peanut butter pieces. That's why.
I'm just picturing Chuck in a cold sweat under his blanket watching ET. It's the 20th time, and he's still wondering if he's gonna make it.
Drew Barrymore, she's got to make it, man. She's got to make it. She's gonna. It's okay, Chuck. She'll make it.
What if the bike crashes this time?
Exactly. What if they get kidnapped, like in a van, like a white paneled like van, and there's like some like guy there, and he kidnaps the kids, and I don't know what happens, you know?
So for the counter, that's 3. That's 3 references now.
It could happen. I don't know.
I hope it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that.
I hope it doesn't either. But when I watch it, I think, oh my God, they're just kids on their own, on their bikes. It's not safe. There's a lot of sexual predators out there, dude. You don't know what can happen. And aliens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What if like ET goes home and then this other alien race comes in and kidnaps these kids and to lure ET, and then ET has to go try to save them? What if something like that
Or they
happens?
perform like experiments on them and stuff, like
So it's the exact same ET storyline, except it's on his planet and they just reverse roles. I'm with it. I'd watch it. You guys got me sold.
You know how I would watch it? What if those aliens that come over to try to get to ET and the kids are xenomorphs? Now you got me in.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Let's turn it up. Let's get some xenomorphs in there.
Yes, man. What if a xenomorph, what if a face hugger latched onto an ET and it bursted out? It's gonna come out like a big head and a pot belly.
What?
Yeah.
Well, it's got the
And then
powers.
and then it started tap dancing.
That's Spaceballs.
Oh, whatever. I thought I came up with that myself.
All right, Jose. What's the next movie we got?
One that I have here, and this is one a lot of people know about. Before we had Cavill and Affleck and Gal Gadot and that Snyderverse Justice League, we had Justice League Mortal, which was supposed to come out. Some of the people that were in there, you had Armie Hammer was supposed to be Bruce Wayne. Adam Brody was supposed to be Barry Allen, which honestly I probably would have taken him.
I would have taken him
compared to our current Barry Allen.
I'm sure DC would too.
Yeah, but the good thing with it is George Miller was the planned director for it, and it was actually going to follow a really good story called Justice League of America, or JLA, Tower of Babel. And the storyline of this is, Batman's a little paranoid. We all know that. Batman's paranoid and always expects the worst. So Batman has contingency plans, not only for villains, but his own friends and teammates. So he has ways to take out every single person on his team: Superman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, everyone. Well, someone gets to his plans and starts using these plans against the heroes and easily takes them down using Batman's plan. That's the general story of the Tower of Babel, which they did an animated version of it. So good story. The cast could have been good. Everything was lined up. Unfortunately, what derailed this movie is, one, it was around the writer's strike. So then that really affected it. That kind of postponed everything. And then I believe they were set to film in Australia, and they were really counting on a tax break from Australia, and it fell through. So besides the writer's strike, it was going to end up costing them a lot more money because they weren't going to get the tax break that they had estimated beforehand, caused the whole thing to collapse, and then we never got it.
Armie Hammer's kind of a weird dude, right?
He's the one that talked about cannibalism.
Yeah, and I
about
think
eating people.
Other stuff. People started coming out talk about him being a creeper.
Yeah,
but this is pre everyone knowing he's a creeper.
No,
I'm sure he was a creeper then, but this is pre everyone knowing he's a creeper.
Yeah. Okay, I'll watch it. When's that coming out?
Never.
Oh.
December 23rd of 2000. Never.
2000 never. Got it. I'll be there. In IMAX.
Because then we got the Snyderverse, and now we wait to see what the next Justice League is going to be, if they have one.
I don't know if they are, man. I don't think they are.
Do you think the Snyderverse is done?
I think it's for sure done. Yeah, it's done. Like I know they came out with the Snyder cut, and although it kind of redeemed somewhat of that movie, I don't think it was palpable. It wasn't enough to give them those warm and gushy feelings of, okay, you know what, we're back on track with this guy. We're going to give him free reign again. I think it's still ruined. I think Ben Affleck is still out, right? As Batman.
Yeah, Ben Affleck's still out. Ezra Miller is not looking good for Ezra Miller. As of right now, they're going to release the Flash movie, but he's done. WB.
Mhm.
Who else are we at? I mean, I don't know if Snyder's going to work with them anymore. Cyborg is out. So it's not really much left. You've got Aquaman
Yeah,
and Wonder
Jason Momoa.
Woman, and that's pretty much it.
I have a potential sequel-ish, a continuation of one of my favorite movies of all time, Batman and Robin. uh, apparently, according to one of my sources, which I will not reveal, they
Damn.
were so
5 minutes before this podcast started.
Shut up, Jose. I did my own research, okay? So, as I was digging through the archives, I realized that there was supposed to be a continuation to another movie to the Batman and Robin, famously played by George Clooney, Batman, the best Batman. Yeah, and it was going to have Scarecrow and Harley Quinn, and I guess they were going to team up and kind of drive him crazy and send him to Arkham. But, fun tidbit here, they actually had Nicolas Cage lined up to play Scarecrow. How about that, Jose?
And who's gonna play Harley Quinn?
Drew Barrymore.
No, it was Madonna.
Oh, Madonna.
The other blonde.
The other blonde, yeah. The only two working blondes at that time of movie making was just those two actresses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Jose?
I'm gonna get ahead of you right now and say no.
No? Okay.
Are you sure? Because I'm kind of gauging you. Your eyes say maybe. Madonna kind of sold you a little bit. No? Okay.
No, if it was Drew
Nicholas-
Barrymore, I probably would have been sold, but you lost me at Madonna. But no,
Huh.
no, that series needed to stop at Batman Returns.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I hear things about Batman Forever, like, oh, it's not as bad as, but you know what? I still don't like it. Like,
No.
I don't like it. It was just a completely, I don't like it. That's it. I don't like it.
No. Yeah.
Val Kilmer. I love Val Kilmer, but you know, like,
Yeah, he wasn't a good
he wasn't-
Batman.
no, right?
No, he wasn't. Yeah, he was. I like Val Kilmer too, but Joel Schumacher had a very unique thing, and I know Warner Brothers DC had where Tim Burton went very dark with their Batman franchise, and they wanted a lot more kind of bubblegum, more kid friendly. So that's why he came in, but he totally went the whole opposite end, and that's where I blame more Warner Brothers because they didn't. We went from 2 Batman movies to all of a sudden here's the third one, but you didn't like get us used to the idea that it was going to be completely different. You should have just told us straight up it was a reboot. Yes. So the next movie that I have was they were going to make a Jurassic Park 4. So Steven Spielberg was on path to do it. It was right after they did Jurassic Park 3. He was ready to do another sequel. And it was going to be a weird, they were going to have like, make a lot of modifications to the dinosaurs, or they're going to have like some human hybrids. They're going to have dog hybrids. And they were going to use these dinosaurs to be used in military. That's how they were going to approach Jurassic Park 4. I love you, Steven Spielberg, but no, I don't like that idea at all. That's awful. To be used in military, like that's not Jurassic Park. Now it's just something else that I'm watching. And that's kind of a little bit of what they did with Jurassic World 3. Don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but kind of the same thing where it felt very un-Jurassic Parky.
You mean the kidnapping movie that just happens to have dinosaurs?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
man. That's kind of what this one felt like they were going with too. So they sound like they kind of regurgitated that storyline a little bit, but no, I'm good. That's a pass.
Yeah.
That series would be so good if you just had you followed the top-down approach and you just had the original Jurassic Park, and then many years later you had Jurassic World, and that was it.
That's it.
It would be so good.
Yeah. I'm good with that. What also would have been pretty cool too, though, is this one Jurassic Park game that I played that it takes place during the events of the first Jurassic Park movie, but it's from the point of view of a worker that's there. And you're seeing it from that. As the park is breaking down, you're seeing their point of view when they're trying to survive. That would have been cool. Give us something like that. Have it take place in Jurassic Park 1. Give us that kind of storyline. I'd be on board for that.
Yeah, make it a straight horror.
Yes.
Straight whore?
Huh? Yes.
A horror?
Dinosaur horrors. Dinosaur horrors.
Yes.
Dinosaur horrors.
Yeah.
Now you're
So
interested.
now we see them.
Ah.
Now we see them in kind of like different like culture and society and how they
Dinosaurs
use
got needs too.
prostitution to
and
get
guess-
what they want. Monkeys do that, right?
I think so. And guess what, Chuck?
Do you know that?
It-
yeah.
It'd be starring Nicolas Cage. So there you go.
As the
Oh.
dinosaur.
As the
As a
dinosaur.
as a Dilophosaurus.
As a dinosaur horde. Dilophosaurus, yeah.
That would be him. He's gonna just be like, like rattling. And
Using his hands.
He's like this.
Just start spitting.
Oh, he's a spitter.
One that came really close to happening was actually Spider-Man 4 by Sam Raimi.
Mhm.
So this actually was gonna, it's funny, it was gonna feature the Vulture was gonna be the main villain
Mhm.
for this one. And he really wanted to make it. He even commissioned a screenplay and a storyboard for it and had all that going. And it was making progress. Sony ended up killing the project because they saw no value after the disaster that was Spider-Man 3, and they decided to just kill that project and in the future work on the reboot. Would you guys have given it another chance even after Spider-Man 3?
I would have, because I know that Venom was slammed down his throat. I'm a Sam Raimi fan. I like Sam Raimi.
Yeah. Dan's talking about slamming Venom down the throat. I don't know.
Oh,
That long tongue.
that's what I thought. Yeah, I would have watched that. I mean, I like Sam Raimi, so I like what's that movie he did? Drag Me to Hell. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Drag Me to Hell is
You guys
good. He
like
always
it?
has the signature eyeballs. You notice that? He loves his use of the eyeballs, and they even did it in Doctor Strange too.
Yeah,
The eyeballs.
giant
and-
eyeball. Oh, you're talking about
Yeah.
Wanda.
No, that one. The giant eyeball where it plucks out, and Drag Me to Hell. They have the eyeball where it goes in her mouth. Remember that? The witch's eye that goes in her
Oh,
mouth.
that's
and
right.
then-
Her fake
and
eye.
you- Yep, and you see it.
You know,
Yeah.
they actually that one-eyed monster, the big eye. I
Mhm.
think that was actually Wanda's eye, like Elizabeth Olsen's eye.
Like the actress,
Just-
like they actually
Yeah,
sculpted it for it.
yeah, like they
Oh,
used it as kind of like a
like a foreshadowing.
like a foreshadow. Yeah, that she's
Got
the
it.
villain.
That's pretty cool, man. I didn't know that. Nice tidbits.
I just made that up. I just made it up.
Well, now I'm gonna leave it in there so everybody walks away. Go ahead and preaching this information, and they're just gonna be totally. There's
Yeah.
gonna be
Just
one asshole
cut,
that says no.
just cut out the part where he says I made it up so that everyone's
Yeah.
like, this guy's got that information.
You have any other ones, Chuck, or no? Movies?
No, but American Psycho 2 sucked with Mila Kunis. Did you guys
Mila
ever see
Kunis.
that?
I did not watch
Mila
it because I'm a huge fan of the first one, and
Yeah.
I just didn't want to watch the second one.
That's
Was it that
it was
bad?
like her brother or something. I didn't watch it, but I was like, why would they do that? It's one of those
She's
things
the
where like,
sister of Patrick Bateman.
yes,
Oh my god, why? So they both just it
Yes,
runs in
and-
the family? That's stupid.
yeah, I guess it's
You
so
should see the
stupid.
one
Like,
with his daughter.
I didn't watch it because I'm like, I'm not gonna ruin American Psycho for me. Like if they
Mhm.
mention his name or whatever. But Bret Easton Ellis, I think he's the writer who wrote the book. He actually did. He wrote Rules of Attraction. Did you guys ever see that? It's with
Maybe.
Dawson with James Vanderbeek.
Oh yeah. I like that movie. And it had
Okay.
Shannon Sossaman. Shannon Sossaman is in it.
Yeah. Okay, but his name's Sean Bateman.
Yes.
Vanderbeek.
Yep.
He's actually the brother of Patrick Bateman.
Yes, I remember reading it. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, and
which
he
also
talks
kind
to
of
him.
explained why he's a little weird. Yep. Which all explains
Yeah,
why
and
he's
he
a little,
talks to him. Someone calls and he gets to the phone
Yeah.
and he's like, "Hello," and they're like, "Hey," and it's the one to Ian Somerhalder, whatever. And he's like, "Hey," he's like, "Patrick," and he's like, "Who's Patrick?" And then he tells him it's him, but that's his brother though. And in the book American Psycho, he's in it. Sean Bateman's in it, the Vanderbeek character. He's in the book of
Nice.
American Psycho. So,
Hey, that movie's. I liked Rules of Attraction. I thought it was pretty good.
yeah, it's
Chuck
good.
also made that up.
His name's not actually
Yeah.
Chuck. He made that up as well.
It's really not my name actually. My name's Chad Radwell 69.
His mom gave him the 69. She was like on the birth certificate. Got him when you're born. Exactly.
I
The
would have been
doctor
okay
was
with that.
like, nice.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so here's one. I want to know how you guys feel about it. They were gonna make a 7 sequel called 8. I'm not kidding.
Shut up.
I'm dead serious. They had a
What?
7 sequel called 8. That was it. And there's not much
About what?
details about it. Other same type of story, man, going after a psycho killer. So
But we already know what's in the box.
it's not. It'd be a different killer
Yeah.
this time. So it'd be kind of like a
What's in the cooler this time? Let's just say.
what's in the cooler. Yeah.
Was Arnold? Did you just cast
Yeah,
Arnold
starring
Schwarzenegger as the
Arnold.
lead detective?
Yeah. What's in the cooler? Oh
He's
yeah.
like, I'm a cop, you idiot. Yeah.
Tell me you wouldn't watch that though. Hell yeah, I'd watch that. All right, Jose, you got another one?
Yeah, I got a couple more here. So one that I have actually, they were gonna make an Airplane 3.
Yeah.
And yeah, and they were fully on board. Pretty much all the cast and the crew were on board, and they were ready to go.
On board?
Unfortunately, the plane crashed and they lost everyone. So
Nice.
the star Robert Hayes, he ended up backing out. He held out of the project because he didn't want to be typecasted in that type of role. So then he went on to do not much else after that.
As I was gonna say, so good news, you're not typecasted. Bad news, you're not casted.
Yeah.
Wow. What was Airplane 2 about? I don't remember that one. Which one was that?
I don't even remember, dude.
It was about these pilots on an airplane, and they had passengers and stuff, and they were flying.
Here we go again.
There's an Airplane 2, right?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
I don't even remember it, dude. I don't remember it.
I don't
just saw the
remember
first one.
much. They kind of both blend together, and
Yeah.
there was someone called Shirley at some point.
Yeah.
Surely
Okay.
you can't be serious.
So
Yeah.
here's another sequel, which would have been awesome. Okay. Is a Showgirl sequel that was going to be called Bimbos. And it follows her, Elizabeth Berkley, as she's trying to make it into Hollywood. Would you guys watch it?
Um,
And
Is
Elizabeth
it the same
Berkley, the
director?
lead.
yeah,
I have no idea, but that's what
Yeah.
they had.
Paul
Her trying to break into
Verhoeven, the guy who did RoboCop. He did Showgirls, right? Come on,
Sure.
man. Yeah, he did. He did RoboCop, Starship Troopers, Basic Instinct.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
was
So
amazing.
if he's directing it, I'll watch it. If he's not directing it, I'm not gonna watch it.
I would have watched it anyways. I don't care. Because the first
Yeah.
one's like so ridiculous, it's funny to laugh at and watch. So I would have watched the sequel.
Oh, and he did Hollow Man.
Kevin Bacon.
Elizabeth Shue.
All right, Jose.
Josh
give us
Brolin.
another.
one that I think you'll appreciate is there was one. It's called Mountain of Madness.
Is that Brokeback
And
Mountain sequel?
no, this is actually
Is
an
that a
original.
Brokeback Mountain sequel?
It's an original.
Oh,
It's an
Oh.
original. And this is a project that Guillermo del Toro has been trying to push and get done for many, many, many years.
H.P.
It's
Lovecraft
based off
story.
of, yep,
Yep.
H.P. Lovecraft story. Basically, the story of it is these explorers that are like stranded in Antarctica and slowly being killed off by an entity.
What does that sound like?
So, yeah.
The Thing?
Exactly.
So, yeah. So this is a project that's actually died off multiple times for different reasons. It's supposedly was killed due to rating dispute, where they wanted him to make I think it was like a PG or PG-13 movie, and he wanted to do a rated R, so it was that dispute. And then the other reason is that was supposedly happened was funding, because due to the flop of his previous project, they didn't want to give him the money necessary to make this movie.
I'd totally watch it because it sounds exactly like The Thing. So The Thing was probably based off this story, I'm assuming. But I love Guillermo del Toro. So you give me monsters with him, I'm already in. You give me a premise that's like that, like The Thing, I'm in. Here's one that I have for you guys. Remember how we already talked about this in a previous episode? Every time they run out of ideas, what do they do with the characters? They throw them in space. So this one, Con Air in space. That was going to be the sequel. Also
is it
starring
Con
Nicolas
Space?
Cage. Con Space, yeah.
Con Space.
I I don't know what it was called, but
Space Con,
probably starring Nicolas
Airspace.
Cage. So here we go. So Nicolas Cage has been mentioned at least 3 to 4 of the movies that we mentioned that got nixed.
They got nixed. Nixed. Get it? Nixed. Nick.
Dun-dun-dun.
They got nixed.
They
got nixed.
That's not bad. And I thought he did it on purpose.
But would you guys?
I
have
would
seen
watch it. I love Con Air. Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. I would watch it.
But
Fuck yeah.
the only sad thing I would be about is that they can't bring back John Malkovich because Cyrus the Virus was freaking rad about that movie. So if he's gone,
Yeah.
you need to give us somebody that's just as eccentric and out there. So Gary Oldman, you give me a Gary Oldman villain for Con Air in space? Hell yeah.
Okay. I see it. I
I'm
like Gary
curious,
Oldman.
why are they going to space? Is there a moon prison? Are they taking them to a moon prison?
You're asking far too
Yeah.
many questions, Jose. Way too logical.
No, of course there is, Jose.
This is
Of
Con
course.
Air in space, sir. Usually they wait.
Supermax space prison
Dude,
on the
they
moon. It's on the
usually-
moon.
They usually do space by the 4th or 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, or 10th movie. These guys went straight to the sequel. They didn't even wait to give us a couple of bad movies. They went straight for space. That's how epic this movie's gonna be. So yeah. That was my last
Wait,
one.
Airplane 2 is with a space shuttle. They go to space, right?
All right, Jose, you have one more to give us?
You know, you mentioned the Superman earlier with Nicolas Cage, but we never actually discussed like kind of what made it fail. And one of the big rumors of why it failed were due to the losses that WB had incurred in previous flops, such as Batman and Robin, which we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And then also the flop that was Mars Attacks.
Yeah. Which was also Tim Burton, right? Because
That's
Burton,
why.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was him being behind this project
Yeah.
and just coming from Mars Attack.
Dude, and think about that. Tim Burton was coming at a time when he was like one of the kings, right? Like everything he was coming out with was like gold. He was like the young prodigy of directors that was coming out around that time, the next generation. And then when he had Mars Attacks, like you had Jack Nicholson in it, man. You had like a lot of top talent. He had a ton of money to do. Visually, it looked amazing. I mean, I remember watching the trailer for that and I was so excited to watch it. Then when I watched the movie itself, it wasn't terrible, but it's been a long time since I've seen the movie. I just didn't love it when I was a kid, but again, it's been a long time since I've seen it. I doesn't sound like
What
I've
movie are you
never-
talking about?
Mars
Mars
Attack.
Attacks.
Oh, you know what's funny? This girl that lived down the street with me, I went to school with her.
Mhm.
She came out in it, right? In high school. She came out in the movie. So we all went to go watch the movie, right? When it came out. And they fucking cut her from the movie.
Did you laugh in her
And
face?
she was crying. I was fucking laughing. She was crying.
Laughing at the mistreatment of others. There's our Chuck. Did you
I was
point and laugh?
You idiot. You didn't come out of the movie. I was giggling on the way out when she was crying. And I'm like, that movie was still pretty good. And I'm like, when she was crying, they're all, yeah, I threw popcorn at her. Anyways, Airplane 2. A faulty computer causes a passenger space shuttle to head straight for the sun. Can Ted Stryker save the day and get the shuttle back on track? Boom.
Don't break your
You
phone.
just broke your phone. If that's an iPhone, that's done.
Hey. We're on Apple iTunes, sir. We need their sponsorship.
The funny thing is, while Mars Attack was a financial flop and a box office flop, it ended up being a cult hit.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's one of those ones that, like, I'm not sure exactly why it didn't have more success when it first came out. I'm not sure if they were expecting. I'm not really sure. You know, I can't even speak intelligently about it because I haven't seen it in a very long time. But I remember not thinking it was bad. I remember thinking it was all right. And visually, it looked really cool. Like, it looked really cool. He had a really nice old school sci-fi design of the monsters. He had a tremendous cast on it. So I'm not really sure why it didn't get.
It wasn't the time.
All right, guys. So speaking of which, what's on the queue? A sequel that I freaking love is Aliens. And what's ironic is that James Cameron was on board to do Piranhas 2. And he got fired on production. And he ended up picking up Aliens. And that ended up help building his career and doing a lot of stuff there. So Aliens is what I recommend. The first one takes the first Alien movie is a horror movie. Freaking love Alien. Aliens took much more of an action approach.
I'm gonna go with one that we actually mentioned earlier, just because this is a movie that almost didn't get made. It got shut down so many times.
What is it, Jose? Come on, dude. What is it? What's going on?
Hey, let me talk.
You're just interrupting all over.
Chuck only gets his energy when other people are talking.
And when you guys go to talk to him all.
Yeah, all he does is ask us questions. Oh, was airplane 2 in space? I just told you I didn't fucking remember the movie.
And it's like,
why are you asking me that?
Chuck, what are your thoughts?
What are you looking at me for, dick nose? I don't know. What's your movie, Jose? Enough with the suspense. Just tell us.
You got this. You got this. Jose, you got this.
Since we're on the topic of movies that didn't get made, I'm going to talk about a movie that almost did not get made and got shut down.
Come on, what is it?
This is what you caused. Now you experience it. You're gonna get nice and long.
You got a Peter Jackson ending on this episode.
Dude, you're giving me the fucking Peter Jackson Return of the King director's cut on this fucking shit, dude.
Exactly, Snyder cut version. Here we go. So to start over. So I think for my cue, since we're talking about movies that didn't get
all this just to recommend a movie. Our audience is gonna be waiting on the edge of their seat, like, what's the movie? What's the movie? With the remote in hand, waiting for Jose.
I'm fucking sweating, dude. I can't stop sweating. It's like watching Cops right now, dude.
Why would you be sweating watching Cops?
You're Mexican?
I sweat when I watch Cops.
No more locked doors. Gracias.
Oh, man. Wait, should every minority be sweating when they're watching Cops? Like, I hope that's not my house.
I don't know why you guys aren't sweating when you're like waiting for me watching them fucking break into your house while you're watching it, dude.
That house looks familiar.
Shit. I have the same planter in my front yard.
That's when you look and say, "Oh shit, I need a haircut."
Is that cousin Juan? So since we are talking about movies that almost didn't get done, I'm gonna choose one that got shut down plenty of times, almost didn't happen, but when it ended up happening, it ended up being good, and that is Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
I think that should be on everyone's queue. It's a really good watch, and even though it almost didn't get made so many times, end result ended up being good.
Mm-hmm. Dude, there's some people that hate Tom Cruise. Like, I know a couple people that's like, I hate him. I don't like watching Tom Cruise movie. I'm like, why?
A lot of people don't like him just because of Scientology.
Cops? You want to recommend Cops?
Yeah, watch Cops.
Come on, Chuck. You had a lot to say, Chuck.
I know.
Come on, Chuck. You can do it, Chuck. You were Mr. Talkative for about 5 minutes straight when we were talking. Come on.
Who knew he was giving a freaking commentary to our fucking podcast episode the entire time? This time we're actually thinking, should we talk about this? No. We weren't thinking that. Midway of us still talking.
Audio commentary on our. Yeah, there you go, dude. That works.
Airplanes? Airplane 2?
Watch Airplane 2. They're in fucking space.
Okay. On that note, you can watch us on YouTube. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, all that goodness. You can listen to us on streaming platforms such as Spotify. You can listen to us on Apple. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter at Not a Strong Start. I'm your host, Daniel 2, the new batch. You can follow me on King_Sangre.
I'm Jose Forever. You can find me at This Is Me Nombre.
And this is Chad Radwell 69. And you can hear him laughing on Not a Strong Start.